responsible for some certain type of KPIs, right? So, not to take too much of your time, I think you can marry both. As a matter of fact, there are data product managers and there are PMs that are experts as well. Right now, AI product managers, the current crop of AI product managers, some of them are machine learning experts and data scientists, and so it depends on you. And some of them are business PMs and technical PMs that just picked up the skill set. So you're good, really.
I'm actually like management. I'm organized things and we are so educated and we want hackathon. And I'm just going to be the first one which is
you think you're going to win? I like it.
Is it this one?
I like
yeah, my system, what I was called. Like your system is what's good. Like was YouTube. That's maybe because the live stuff stopped or something. It's displaying the live stuff. So there's no way it can be.
Yeah, that's what you just said. So I just want to give a personal example because I work with a company in the US. So I used to work as a business analyst, product manager in an insurance company. I won't mention the name of the company, but if you check my LinkedIn, you know. So in Nigeria, so I was doing a lot of documentation, PRD, all the likes, and trying to sometimes buy exactly. Sometimes even have to buy some of our engineers lunch. Literally, I did that just to make sure that we meet timelines and all of that in Nigeria. And when I joined the second company, I think my husband knows what I'm saying. Yeah, and I was writing PRDs, doing all of these things, and I had my first presentation with the CEO, and the guy literally was like, he doesn't want to talk to me again. That we should like it was boring. I just went to know that I've lost my job because I was used to the traditional thing of writing documentation that people will not even read at all, right? So what I'm trying to say in essence is that your experience, your PM, your product management experience, and the exhaustion you're getting from it right now is a Nigerian thing. It's not actually an international thing. So I think you should, like they already advised you, maybe reach out to people that work as product managers. You can reach out to me as well, in other countries and see what they actually do. I mean, so in terms of tech stack that you need to develop, it's okay to be an ML product manager. There are growth product managers, there are technical product managers. So I would just advise that you don't. If you see my job description now, or my job title is called Cybersecurity and Compliance Product Manager. Yeah. So you can merge all of this together. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I have we have just 2 minutes left, but I would have to ask you, like, what is one piece of advice you would just give? Maybe in like 4 sentences, and also give to Hero to also answer the same question.
Okay, if we don't have that much time, I think the advice I will always give is get doing. Don't just focus on tutorials, reading this, reading that. Start doing. In tech, it's about doing. It's like when you learn any other physical skill, like tailoring, mechanic, if you're reading stuff, you will be good at it until you do. Tech is like that. Most of us in tech, we are self-taught. Like African footballers, most of them are self-taught. If you go to Europe, you get into academy as at 2 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, and so on. But African footballers train themselves and they become footballers. So are African techies. So you get in there and start learning things yourself. Start training yourself. Start practicing. You'll get there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And the last piece of advice from Ms. Hero.
Yeah, so advice. Yes. I would have given it generally, but I think your question is interesting. So I think I'll give my advice from your question. And the reason why I want to do that is asking this question can actually affect other people's mindset about a particular tech field, which is the PM, because you say you have issue with PM and you're diverting to something else. and someone else is saying, I'm moving from product design to PM. That person now might be saying, I've not even put my leg, let me remove so fast. So she was saying it's a Nigerian problem. I don't think it's a Nigerian problem. I think it's your personal problem. And why do I say that? First is, who is your mentor? That's the first thing. Because I can call PMs in this same Nigeria, and when they tell you about the PM, you would want to start learning PM. So it's not about the Nigerian system, it's about you. And that's why when he asked about practical steps, I made mention of research, right? I made mention of research. I made mention of your own, aligning your research with your own strength. I made mention of community. I made mention of mentorship. You can't tell me you have these steps and you're saying this. I'm sorry to say. You can't tell me you have a community. Like, you are in Nigeria, let's not even go outside. You're in Nigerian products community, and everybody is saying the same thing, that this is what PM is, and that's why you're diverting. So first things, you need to have your own research. If you worked with a particular person or in a particular company, and you have this experience with them, doesn't define that tech field at all. It only defines your working experience in that company, not your own field. And why am I saying this? I'm a front-end developer and I've worked with several companies. I have experiences with companies. It does not define my front-end development. It is because of work culture of different companies. So you can't say because of I have a very bad experience with company A, all of a sudden front-end development is bad. I'm running to back-end development. Because you can actually still move to the AI. Your AI is still in Nigeria. You will start at least, you start from somewhere, and you have the same experience. Will you run? So I think you should change that mindset first off when you are trying to present why you're moving from a field to another. Because if you say this mindset, I don't think you would actually have a say in a field with this mindset. Everybody, even if they tell you their problems now, they will tell everybody have one problem or the other they face in a field or the other. Doesn't define that field, but actually work experience with somebody. She mentioned she works with developers, she has to buy lunch. Does not mean she works with another developer, she buy lunch with that developer. So that's just your own mindset. And that's why it's very, very important to have mentors. Very key. If he's your mentor, you won't be saying this. You will be surprised. Why? I don't experience this, and you're experiencing it. How? How is it now the field? So that's why my own advice for you generally is don't, again, if you want to choose a field, your field should not be based on what somebody is doing. Because if you're doing that, you'll be frustrated. You will be frustrated. If you stay on your ground that they are product designers, UI UX designer, they are UI UX researcher. I have somebody that till date, she wants to still be that UI UX researcher. Where some persons will say UI UX researcher, they don't make money. She's making money. First of all, find your own niche, do your research. Let it not be you are saying, it's even wrong for you to start saying, AI, because Mr. A is in AI. It's wrong. You don't have purpose for yourself. That's the truth. So if you want to choose a field, choose that field from understanding of that field. That's why research is important. They say if you want to deceive Nigerians in quotes, give them information in paper. They won't read. And that's the truth. A lot of persons sign documents. If you get offers now, you just sign. And later you start saying, they did not give me this thing. It's not in your offer letter. You didn't read. You just signed. So that's because we are so after the result and we forget the steps in getting that result. So if you do your research, if you are well-grounded about what PM is, if you're well-grounded about what a particular tech field is, when somebody is coming to tell you something different, you stay on your ground because you know what you have researched on. You can't come and tell me something different about front end and I'll listen to you. I heard some people say, if you want to make money now, you can't just do front end alone, no, you have to add back end. I hear people say that. You can't get jobs if you don't know back end. You can't just be a front end developer and you get jobs. He said, I've been in front end alone. I actually learned full stack but I stayed on front end and I've been there till now. Both outside, both Nigeria, I've been getting jobs. So it's about my own mentality. I'm putting my own self out there because I know my work, I know my value. And value will bring you money. If you have that mindset, you're staying on that ground. But if you're after this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, because sometimes information will actually make other persons, drop. And that's why I'm pointing on that correction. So that you want to divert into PM, when you do your research, you will not be afraid when you hear information like this that PM is. See, there's no skill that is easy. There's no skill that is hard. Every skill is hard. Every skill is easy. It's depending on what's your own definition for hard and easy. And that's life, right? And if you want to choose the hard, choose the right hard for yourself. If you know I'm going to AI that you are running, it's not easy as well. Neither is the hard. It's how you are defining your hard and easy. So that's why you need to have passion for what you are doing. The first step is curiosity. If you are very curious, very curious person, you will see that you begin to learn more, you begin to grow more in that actual field. So if you have passion, you won't get, easily distracted or way down if you don't get a job immediately because you have passion for what you're learning, what you are doing. It's beyond just making the money fast, right? It's beyond making the money fast. You have to stay on it, dwell on it, grind on it. If you're talking about design, talking about stuff, when people are talking, you know that they are making money from this thing. A lot of persons stay on one field and they are doing so well. You can still be a PM. From PM, you can still be a PM and you know Scrum Master. I actually learned Scrum Master and I'm not a Scrum Master. I picked up certifications that will affect my own engineering, right? And I'm building myself gradually. So my own advice is please, if you want to go into a particular field, please, in God's name, do your own research. And when you want to talk about your field, talk about it from the point of your own knowing because you've done research, not because somebody is in that field. Because if you're working with somebody's space or somebody's idea, when the person falls, you are falling because you know that this person has failed. What am I even continuing for? So just have that mindset and you do well. Everybody's going to make it in tech space. Just, it's not hard. Tech fields, any tech field you are into, you're going to make it. Even as bad as we hear, I don't want to go into. When I look at a lot of people, first thing I want to do is if I'm in a particular field, I try to research this actual field. Who is the top? Who are the top 10, top 5, top? Those are the people I look at. If they can do it, I can. Nobody's having to make it in life.
So, what I wanted to say is not even related to any question, but it's something that I said I would mention even before I leave here. So even though we are mentioning that use AI, I want us, I think you mentioned, I want us not to lose our humanity. I don't want us to outsource our thinking to AI. So when he said that, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe you knew what I was going to say. When he said that when they remove you from AI, what are you essentially? Do not lose your own creativity as a human. Do not lose your resilience. Do not lose collaborate with AI, but do not lose your authenticity. So that was the advice I wanted to get, and I felt like I had to say it before I left here. Thank you.
Round of applause, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much once again. Really appreciate the answers, the insights, and the tips that you're giving to us from Mr. Kingsley to Mr. Kingsley to oh my God, to Dolakwa, Mr. Charles, and Euro. Thanks so much for coming. We appreciate you. Round of applause, please. Right. Wow. That was tell again. Okay, with pictures. Okay, can we let's take a picture. Mr. Kingsley.
Yeah, hello everyone.
By the way, Safaya, don't forget to have a networking ticket with Mr. Charles. All right. So up next we have I guess we're going to take a 5 minute break. Well, so we'll take a 5 minute break for us to maybe network, see the panelists and also, ask yourself questions basically. So thank you.
Yeah, he's ready.
Just look at that out.
Wait, 5 minutes break.
Yes. When he ready, we share like. All right.
Should we take a break or should we take one keynote session? Keynote or break? I'm hearing keynotes. All right, let's take a keynote. Actually, this is a very important, it's a very nice topic. It's very new in AI. It's about MCPs. And probably, we don't even know what MCP means, right? Same as I. But this is MCPs, and it's going to be given to us by Emmanuel Olarewaju. He's the CTO of Proton Labs Technology. So Emmanuel will be talking about the API is dead. Long live the context protocol. How MCP is building the new intelligence web. A round of applause for Emmanuel.
Okay, hello everyone. Good afternoon. I'm super excited to be here today. I'll first of all like to appreciate Wood Africa for this opportunity to talk about MCPs. And just before I start, I would like to give a brief introduction about myself. I'm Emmanuel Olarewaju David. I'm a software engineer with over 7 years experience in software development. I'm also a machine learning engineer as well. I'm currently the co-founder and CTO of Proton Labs Technology, an AI company based in the UK, which specializes in building AI products that enhance productivity. We have a couple of popular products such as PDF, Detect AI, and CoWriter. But PDF is actually our most popular product with over 3 million registered users. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So we have over 3 million users worldwide on Accept PDF. And we also have one of the most popular research assistant agents on the ChatGPT GPT store, which is currently ranked, I think, number 6 on the store. So today I'll be talking about MCPs. So the meaning of MCP is actually model context protocols. But before I dive into what MCPs are, I would like to give an introduction about what MCPs are. I'll give the architecture, and then I'm going to talk about the core primitives behind MCPs. So like the foundation that is necessary to understanding what MCPs are. And finally, I'll do a live demo. Then we can have a question and discussion session. So I'll try as much as possible to make this as hands-on as possible and to try to round up this slide as soon as possible so that we can have enough time for the demo. So let's dive in. So what is MCP? Well, MCP is a way we can actually connect our AI agent systems, AI hosts to external data. So whenever I talk about MCP hosts here, I'm referring to things like Claude, ChatGPT, Cursor, Gemini. So basically AI systems that we actually interact with every day. So I tend to see MCPs as a bridge between AI and external systems. So when I talk about external systems, I'm talking about things like your applications, your workspace tools, your databases, your APIs. Basically, any real-world application can actually be connected to an AI system using an MCP. A very good use case for an MCP will be probably connecting your Gmail app to ChatGPT, for example, which is an MCP host. With the use of an MCP, you can actually read your emails directly from ChatGPT. You could send emails from ChatGPT. You could actually summarize emails. You could respond to emails using ChatGPT, for example. So, I mean, the use cases of MCPs are diverse and numerous. And then I added this image here because it's quite important to understand this. So MCPs are like adapters. So we all know what an adapter is. So an adapter is something you can plug in other things to. So an MCP is basically an adapter where you can plug in your applications, and then you can then plug in this adapter to your MCP host. So your MCP hosts are basically, as I said, your AI agents, your Claude, your ChatGPT, your Cursor, your Gemini. So what are the real world applications of MCPs? As I said earlier, you could actually integrate your workspace tools to your AI applications. For example, you could integrate your calendar, you could integrate Notion, you could actually integrate Slack. You could also use it for project management. You could integrate Jira, for example. So with Jira, you can actually create tickets directly from ChatGPT. You can actually even integrate Sentry. So Sentry is an error login tool, and automatically you are able to like solve problems on your code base and create pull requests using MCPs directly from either ChatGPT, Cloud, or Cursor. So it's quite interesting. And then I know that Wood Africa deals with a lot of product designers, so I decided to add this use case. So just recently, Figma released an MCP for designers. So using this MCP from Figma, you can actually connect your Figma application and select any of your wireframes or mockups and directly convert them into functional code. So automatically, you can actually connect Figma directly to ChatGPT, for example, using an MCP. And you can select any of your wireframes, and it actually implements the code necessary or the UI aspects of your wireframes. And then for enterprise knowledge, you can actually integrate MCP into your workflow. For example, you could have like internal documentation, you could have like internal repositories, you could have internal databases you want to expose to your customers, to your employees. Within an MCP, you can actually connect this information to your AI system. So you could actually create a chatbot, for example, that is able to answer questions to like new employees in your company. And you can actually put restrictions with an MCP on the kind of data you want to be exposed to customers and type of data you want to be exposed to employees. So it's actually interesting. And then the last point I wanted to make is live data access. So you can actually connect your APIs, you can connect your databases, you can actually get any form of information using MCPs. Yeah. So let's talk about why MCPs matter. Well, one of the reasons why MCPs matter is because it provides a single interface where you can actually connect, you can actually develop an AI agent, right? And you can integrate any external tool using one single interface. So you don't need to reintegrate each time that you want to connect a new application. You just have that one single interface you can connect to and then connect that to your AI system. So it actually improves developer experience. And then the most important point here that I wanted to make is this issue of real-time context. So I don't know if you have noticed, recent, if you are using ChatGPT, for example, there are times when you ask questions, right? And then it tells you, oh, doing a web search, or you're using Cursor, for example, doing a web search. So it tries, you ask a question, then it looks like it checks for the answer on the internet, right? Before returning the response to you. This is an example of an MCP in action. So ChatGPT uses an MCP behind the scene to actually search the web and give you responses. So previously, it was not like possible to do this. Previously, we used to have like an issue where there's usually context cutoff. So, for example, a model was trained in 2023, for example, and then I'm in 2025 now, and I'm trying to ask the model, okay, can you actually integrate the latest version of Next.js for me? The model won't have an idea that there has been a new release of Next.js in 2025. So it's only aware of the data it was trained on that was from 2023 downwards. Now, this is where MCP is coming. MCPs can actually pull the latest documentation and actually provide the necessary context for the model to give you responses. So this is where our demo will actually focus. We will focus on. I'll be showing you a demo of an MCP I actually built that actually pulls the latest documentation from the internet and actually passes that context to an AI system that knows nothing about the documentation. And this AI system will be able to integrate that code for you without prior context. And then also MCPs help us to build like capable AI agents. So we can actually build sophisticated systems that enhance user experience. They can retrieve relevant data on demand. They can actually take actions for users. So they are able to determine, okay, when do I need to call an external API? When do I need to check your Gmail? When do I need to create an appointment for you on the calendar? So these are the places where MCPs are quite important. So they make our AI agents more intelligent by providing external context. So let's talk about like the MCP architecture. So it's quite important to understand the MCP architecture before I actually do demo, because we'll be dealing with one part of the architecture in the demo actually. So the MCP host, as I said, is just basically your normal AI systems. So it could be your AI agents, it could be a chatbot, it could be ChatGPT, it could be Cursor, it could be Gemini, it could be Cloud. They are basically the managers of the MCP. So I like to call them like the presentation layer of an MCP. This is like the part where the user interacts with the model. So this is where the results of your MCPs are displayed. So this is where the inputs of the user is collected. So this is the presentation layer. This is where the user interacts with the system. And then under the hood, the MCP host contains MCP clients. So the MCP host basically manages MCP clients. Now let's dive into what MCP clients are. So the MCP client is basically just a bridge between the MCP host and the MCP server. So each client manages one server connection, and the MCP client is able to retrieve the abilities of an MCP server and then passes that ability to the MCP host, which in turn is able to determine, okay, what can this MCP client and what can this MCP server offer me? What actions can I take on behalf of the user? What tools can I call on behalf of the user? And then finally, this is like the most important part, the MCP server. So the MCP server is basically the backend of the MCP. So this is where developers come in. This is where we do all our customer logic. This is where we do all our API calls. This is where we do all our integrations with external apps. So this is like the backend. I like to call it like the API, but it doesn't really work like an API in the real sense, but it's quite similar. So communication between these three layers of the MCP is actually just your standard input-output for local processes, and then your standard HTTP for processes that have to pass through like a network. So you could actually use server-sent events or WebSockets for real-time communication between your MCPs, your MCP server and your MCP host, basically. So just before I do the demo, I would like to explain what the primitives or the core building blocks of an MCP server is. So it's quite important to understand like the MCP primitives, right? Before you can actually build an MCP server. So the MCP primitives consist of three things: the tools, the resources, and the prompts. And this tool, for example, is actually just a function. So if you've written code before, you know what a function is. It takes in an input, it returns an output. So basically, that's what the tool does. So a tool is a function that an MCP host or client can call to take action, basically. So it could be maybe calling an API endpoint, it could be querying a database, it could be opening a file on your system. It's basically just functions, basically. And then we have the resources. So the resources are just contextual information that actually tells your MCP host what the capabilities of the tools are. How best can you call this tool? When do I need to call this particular tool? So it just gives it external information. So recently in an MCP build, right, I used resources as a way to expose HTML templates, which I was able to render on ChatGPT. So you can actually use this to expose like database schemas. You can use it to expose API documentations. You can use it to expose just basically important information that could help your MCP host call the relevant tools when necessary. And then finally, prompts. So I know we've heard a lot about prompts throughout this conference. So prompts are basically just the normal prompts you can give to an AI system. So they are in MCP, in the context of MCPs, prompts are used as guardrails or instructions on how tools or functions, as I like to call them, should be called. So you can actually specify how you want your responses to come. So for example, if I'm building an MCP that exposes or reads my email, right, I could actually write a prompt and tell the MCP, fetch my last 5 emails. Whenever a user tries to fetch an email, fetch the last 5 emails, and then summarize those 5 emails to me in one paragraph. So this is just basically instruction. Or if I'm integrating an MCP into my workspace or into my knowledge repository of my organization, right? I could tell it, do not expose this particular information to users that do not have this permission. So it's just like a guardrail on how tools should be called. So I added this image as a way to drive my points like further. So here you have the MCP client, right? And this MCP client is able to call MCP servers. So you could call like multiple MCP servers. And then under these MCP servers, you have tools, you have resources, you have prompts, you have other tools as well. So now, what happens here? So for this MCP server, for example, it has this particular function or tool, as I like to call it, search docs. So this could just be like a function that actually takes an argument and then searches the internet and returns the result of that argument. It could be maybe find the latest documentation for next year's. And basically what this will do is it will actually just search the internet, return the relevant context, and then this will be passed down to the MCP host. And then this can just be additional information on how best tools should be called. So in our demo today, we'll actually see this in action. And then custom prompts here, for example, this MCP server actually has a custom prompt and has a tool, right, that can be called read email. It has another tool that can be called send emails, for example. So here you could actually put a prompt telling it, oh, can you, whenever a user tries to check your email, can you just return only the snippets of their last 10 emails? And then whenever this read email is called, right, the result is presented fully to the MCP. And then the MCP host checks, oh, is there any custom prompt restricting this information from being displayed fully? It checks if there's a prompt, then it actually just returns only the snippets to the user. So this is the way custom prompts work, basically. So I just added this as additional examples on how MCP primitives work. So this will not be complete without me like using examples to explain what or how MCP tools can be called or how they are defined. So to define an MCP tool is just basically a function you have to define. So for example, let's say we had an MCP tool called get user profile, right? We have to specify the name of that particular tool. For example, in my example here, I don't know if this is clear enough to see. Let me try and zoom this in. Okay, so in my example here, get user profile, for example, it has a name called get user profile, right? Then it has a description. So this is important. So you need 3 things when defining a tool. Just like an API endpoint, you need a name, you need a description, and you need the parameters that this tool can take. If you're defining an API, this would be called like the payload, right? Which the tool can take. So you need to define this, right? So for example, I'll have to put a name, get user profile. Then I have to give a description telling the MCP host that this is what this particular function does. So this is very important. If not, the AI system might not be able to call the correct tool. This will be fetch user profile, fetch user data from CRM, for example. And then you have parameters. Parameters are basically just arguments that your tool must be called with. So, for example, we are telling the MCP host now that, okay, you need to get the user profile whenever a user tries to fetch information from their CRM. And then you need to pass the user's ID as an argument to this function. And then we are telling it that this argument is necessary. It's not an optional argument. It has to be passed to be able to call this particular tool. And then this is what happens on the MCP host and client. So the MCP host receives the user's prompt, for example. So I could type in something on ChatGPT like, can you fetch the Mr. Emmanuel's profile for me? Automatically, this ChatGPT, for example, which is an MCP host, already knows that, oh, this user is trying to call this particular tool, right? So what does it do? It converts this my request into this JSON format you can see here. So it specifies that, okay, I want to do a tool call. I want to get this particular tool, get user profile, specifying the name. And then I want to pass this argument to this particular tool. So what does the MCP server do? The MCP server actually receives this request like this, and then it calls this particular tool or function and passes this argument to the particular tool, and then it returns the relevant result to the MCP host, which will then present the results to the user. So this is just basically how MCP tools work. So so this is like the most interesting part because I'm quite excited to actually like demo an MCP actually built. So it's important to show you how it works in the real life. So I actually created this documentation finder MCP. You can find it on my GitHub. So using this link. So if you want to pull it and actually play with it, I actually added a very good documentation on how to use it and how to set it up. So we'll be setting up this MCP and we'll be trying it out. So basically what this MCP does is when I try to integrate a new feature on an old AI model, for example. So for example, I want to use Next.js, and then the model doesn't know that, okay, there's been a new release, right? The MCP actually goes to the internet, searches for the new documentation, fetches that documentation, and then sends it back to the MCP host. Now, the MCP host is able to integrate that functionality into my development or into my code, basically. So let's just dive into the demo. So I just want to be sure if everyone can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I'll just dive into the demo like right now and
Would you
show you how.
would you be sharing your screen for the demo?
Yeah, I thought I was sharing my screen.
No. This is us sharing our screen. So let me stop sharing and then you can share your screen for the demo.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to do that. So let me share my screen. Is my screen visible now?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay. So I'm not going to like explain too much here. So as you can see, implementing an MCP is quite simple. If I remove like all the comments I've added here, is less than 100 lines of code in total, creating an MCP. So first of all, you have to initialize your MCP server, and then you have to define your tools. So as you can see, I have one tool here, which is search and fetch documentation. Basically, what this tool does is it actually takes the package name or a search query and then calls an API that checks the internet and then returns the documentation, the content of the documentation. That's just basically it. Like this is still main brain of the MCP. So, and then I have another primitive, as I said, prompt, right? So the prompt basically is just a way of me telling the MCP or giving the MCP a guide on how best to call this particular tool. So for example, for this particular prompt, I'm telling it, please help me find documentation about package, blah, 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 related to dash, dash, use the search and fetch documentation to search for the package name, summarize the key points and provide examples if necessary. Focus on providing accurate, up-to-date information from the official documentation. So basically, this is just a prompt that you can give to ChatGPT. This is what the prompt does, and then this is an MCP tool. So I'll start by running this MCP server and then integrating it with Cursor. So what we'll be doing today is just recently, I think some months back, I released this particular package. So I released this package, which has about 72 stars currently. So what this package does is, I'm sure the LLM doesn't know anything about this package because I released this package after GPT-4 was released. So what this package does is it takes in your PDF, right? And then it converts it to Markdown format. So converts it to things like this. And then this Markdown can then be passed to things like ChatGPT, Cursor, etc. So this was released like just to enable us use like LLMs to be able to pass documents that can be passed back to LLMs. So just from PDFs, you can convert to Markdown, basically. So we'll be integrating this tool using my MCP. So let's just start. So first of all, to use your MCP, you have to start the MCP server. So I'm just going to start that. You can use this command to start the server. And as you can see, this is running locally on port 8000. So I have to proxy my port. So proxying your port means you're exposing the port to the internet. Anybody can connect to it. So I'm just going to proxy my port to the internet using ngrok. So yeah, so this is how I proxy my port to the internet. So I'm just starting this on port 8000, and then I have a URL I can pass to anybody that wants to access this MCP on the internet. So now let's connect this MCP to a new cursor project, for example. So to connect your MCP to a cursor project, you have to add this particular JSON. You have to add the configuration. So I have to put in the URL of my my ngrok server. So I have to put, sorry. So I have to do this. And then I have to just replace my local host with what is available on the internet. So here we go. And then now, as you can see, it's already telling me, oh, documentation finder MCP is available. You can call this particular function search and fetch documentation. You can also call this prompt get documentation. So as you can see, Cursor can detect my MCP automatically. So now, for example, let's say I want to integrate with my smart LLM loader package, right? I want to create like an integration. I want to write the code that integrates that package into my workflow. So I'm just going to paste this and then allow Cursor to do its magic. So as you can see, Cursor is telling me, oh, I want to call this particular MCP. Are you allowing me? So this is our MCP. So let's just, this is our MCP. You can see the parameter, the package name. And just want to come back here. So it's trying to pass this package name argument, which is smart LLM loader, right? And I'm just going to click on run. So as you can see, I've been able to return the documentation for smart LLM loader using, that's been able to fetch documentation using the search and fetch documentation MCP, right? And you can see perfect. I can see you already have smart LLM loader and your dependency. Now let me implement a complete example, blah, blah, blah. So let's just wait for it to finish its implementation. So yeah, it has actually implemented this. So let's hope it works the first time. Okay, and then so I'm just trying to load my API key because you need an API key from Gemini to be able to run my code. So I think it actually found. Okay, so let's try to run this code. Hopefully it works the first time. So as you can see, it's trying to call Gemini. I think there's an error with this. But it was able to get like the first chunk, which was successfully loaded 7 chunks. And then it was able to get like the information. So as you can see from the PDF, this was the invoice number 27301, which it was able to find here, 27301. It was able to get the date of issue, which was this one and this one. So that's just basically like how you can implement an MCP. So to be able to connect your MCP to ChatGPT, for example, and Claude, which is quite interesting. So I left the best part for the last part of this video. So for ChatGPT, right, you can actually just do this. You come here, come to app and connect us. As I said, you can see that there are already MCPs on on ChatGPT by default. There's Gmail, there's GitHub, there's Google Calendar. So you can actually just connect to any of this, log into your Google or Gmail, and it will be able to get like information directly from your Gmail, for example, into the ChatGPT window. So I'm just going to add my MCP. So we don't have what, so I'm just going to remove this. Let's call this documentation finder. Let me look for, and then I'm just going to pick my MCP host URL. Sorry, MCP server URL, sorry. And I'm just going to connect to it actually. So let's connect to it. So I'm just waiting for it to connect. So as you can see, that's actually connected, and you can see that search and fetch documentation is actually available. So it can actually call this. So let's select our MCP. And then to keep things equal, let's use the same prompt we used in this place. So let's see if ChatGPT can actually use our MCP. Let's choose an old model that doesn't have like the latest context. So I'm just going to paste this here. I'm going to hit my send. So ChatGPT should automatically call my MCP. Yes, as you can see, it's actually calling my MCP. It's telling me, okay, allow search for smart LLM docs. And if you look at the details, you see that it's actually trying to send the package name, the search query back to my MCP server. So I'll just accept this. And let's see what ChatGPT does. So as you can see, it already called my backend. You can see the results, which is the documentation of my package, actually. And then you can see that it actually tells you how to install the necessary dependencies, and it gave us a very simple implementation of my package, something simpler than what customer gave us. So basically, this is how you can call MCPs, and I'm not going to run this just to save time. And then finally, let's connect our MCP to Claude. So I tend to use Claude a lot, and a lot of developers use Claude because it's actually, I think, better and faster for development. So let's use Claude. So here too, you have to come here. You have to fetch your MCP server URL, and then you have to connect. So as you can see, it also has Google, it has Gmail, it has Google Calendars, it has GitHub. Now, let us add our MCP connector. So this is the MCP connector, sorry. And then let me name it documentation finder. And then I'm just going to add this. As you can see, our MCP is actually configured, right? But then I just want to show you something here real quick. So if you come here, you see that a lot of people have actually added their MCPs. So for example, I spoke about Figma releasing their MCP, right? So if you search here, you actually see Figma's MCP. So with this, you can actually convert your mockups directly to code. So yeah, actually MCPs already, like this is the latest thing in AI currently. So if you can release your MCP as well, it's actually a nice thing to do because that is like the next phase of AI development. So let me use the same prompt as well. I'm going to just copy this and then I'm going to put it here. And then I expect this to actually call, as you can see, my MCP documentation finder is here. So I expect it to actually call my documentation finder MCP. So let's try this. You should ask for permissions. Yeah, so as you can see, Cloud wants to use search and fetch documentation from documentation finder. So this is my MCP. This is the package name. So it's still trying to pass this particular package name. And if you remember, if you come back here, you see that this is the first argument. So it's just basically like an API call, but it's smart in allowance. You should be able to pull out that documentation. So let's just wait for it. Yeah, perfect. I found the documentation. Now let me create a comprehensive implementation of MCPs. So if you look here, you see that my MCPs have actually returned the necessary context to Claude in order for it to call, in order for it to be able to develop or to create this particular tool or integrate my package, which it was not aware of. So this is how you can actually use MCPs to add context to your applications. I just want to share something brief with you guys. So just recently, ChatGPT released something called Apps SDK. So Apps SDK is basically the latest thing. I mean, I believe in the nearest future, this is how we'll actually be developing apps. So most of your apps will not be on Play Stores. They'll actually be inside ChatGPT, inside Cloud, inside any of the AI agents. So using MCPs, you can actually build things like this. So for example, let me just show you what these are. So for example, in the nearest future, I think in maybe 2 weeks' time, you'll be able to do things like this from ChatGPT. So you can actually use applications directly from ChatGPT, and it will actually render the UIs of those applications inside the ChatGPT window. So the latest thing now is if you can try to build something that uses an MCP to render to do this, actually you could be among the first to release an app on ChatGPT using an MCP that can render UIs. So in the nearest future, this will be like the latest things. You'll be able to open maps, you'll be able to play music, you'll be able to place orders on ChatGPT actually. You'll be able to do most of the things you do on your phone directly on ChatGPT using the MCPs. So I think that brings us to the end of my keynote on MCPs. So I'll be here for questions and discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So let me just stop sharing my screen.
Do we have anyone that has questions for our keynote? Did you subscribe? I'm no longer there. Oh, okay. Maybe from the people from the Zoom, they have questions.
Any question?
Okay. Well,
no questions.
No question then. Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
Okay. For those of us here, I believe you deserve some break and you can stretch your leg or listen to my joke. And I have like prize I want to give like 2 people here. So let's see. All right. So I have one random question. Who knows when the first WD Africa was hosted? Where and when? Does anybody know that? The first WD Africa, when was it hosted? When and where?
You mean the first event ever of WUD?
Yeah. If you want to speak, raise up your hand. So, Okay, nobody knows. Wow, interesting. Okay. The lady at the back, can someone give her a mic to answer, please? As in, the lady there. Tell us what's your name and what you do, and then proceed to answer questions.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ade Damilayo, and I am a strategy architect from Leonard.
Woo! Clap. I like the charisma she takes to introduce herself.
No, that question is 2 in 1. Let me answer one fast.
Yes.
Where and when? First WD event was hosted on the same day last year.
Was hosted well?
On the same day last year.
Sadly, no.
Where?
No. You know why? It was hosted a day before my birthday. The next day was my birthday. So, no.
Sir, you're up.
I'm not telling you when it's my birthday.
All right.
Okay, she want to try? We have another lady here. Huh? You don't. Do we have any other person that wants to try? Okay, she said she wants to try. Okay.
November 16th in Lagos.
Oh, nice. So we have our first winner here. Okay. Let's see. I have another question for you guys. This one will be slightly tougher. I will not make it easy. I have the question. Yeah, okay. We have a lot of people that are interested in AI, right? So this will go to those that are familiar with AI. So which AI model was trained to play chess? Is it AlphaGo or ChatGPT? Or let me go again. Which AI model was trained to play chess? AlphaGo, ChatGPT, or AlphaZero? Everybody saying AlphaGo. Raise up your hand so that the speaker. If you people are cheating, I will know. Yeah, we have someone there. Can you give him a mic, please?
AlphaZero.
Yeah, he actually got it right. It wasn't ChatGPT. All of you shouting ChatGPT because ChatGPT does everything. I mean, you assume that the answer was on ChatGPT. You don't tell us your name and what you do.
Sapphire. I'm Sapphire.
I guess you were meant to get a gift last because I know you've been interested. Well, that was nice. I still have like 2 more gifts to give you. But should I do that now or should I wait till after our teams that want to battle for the hackathon prize? Should we do that after then? Or do you guys want to do your gifts now?
I think we should give them after a hackathon presentation.
They should decide. Let's smoke democracy.
Yeah.
Now, wow. Everybody wants now. Okay, let's take one more. There's one more back. Okay. Let me ask my additional question. Okay. So, name one African city that is known as a design/tech hotspot. Not one, rather. Sorry, 4. Name 4 African city that is known as a design/tech tech hotspot in the year 2025. Okay, you have to name the 4 cities. Can I get a mic to him, please? Tell us your name and what you do.
My name is Imladi.
Okay, what do you do,
I'm a software
Imladi?
engineer.
Oh, that's nice.
I want to mention the 4 cities: Lagos,
Okay.
Nairobi,
Wow.
Gali,
Okay.
and Cape Town.
Wow. Are you clap for me? See my that question was so easy. Wow. Let me get your gift, but yeah, thanks for participating. Can someone please get me the last one inside? Okay. Today is Saturday, so I don't think anybody experienced Lagos traffic successfully. Thank God today is Saturday first. For the designers in the house, let me ask you this question. Let's see if you guys pay attention to stuff. As a designer, I want to ask this question. The last event Figma hosted recently, the Figma schema, can you tell me 2 main features that Figma has released on that Figma schema? Okay, you have a lady there. Yeah. Bring the last one. I need the mic for that lady. She wants to answer the question. The lady with the blue.
Yes, everyone. I'll figure
Your name, what you do, and then answer the question.
I am the sad maths.
Okay.
I'm a product designer.
Okay.
Okay, Figma launch like the Figma web, whereby when you design, you can easily launch it without a developer.
No, I'm not talking about Config 2025. I mean schema that they did this October. Yeah.
No, I don't have any idea.
Oh.
I know. I already have idea of the one we launched.
I'm not talking about Config.
Oh,
We
we're
did
talking about
no, we did Figma schema this October, ending of October, and they launched.
I only know of the coffee guys.
No. I'm not talking about copy. I'm talking about schema. Do we have any designer that has the answer? Wow. So how do you guys keep up with Figma as a designer? You don't follow up with updates. We had so many amazing updates that I'm looking forward to explore. But for knowledge base, Figma launched the ability to use slots with your components now. So your components you can use slots. You have extended variables in your variables such that you can have a design token and different products under your company, your design system can have their different extended variables that will not affect anything. That's another feature. No, you're not gonna question. I heard this guy gave yeah, that's right. I believe this is yours. So I guess I'll put my last video after those pitching for the hackathon. All right. So are the hackathon guys ready? Are you guys ready? Okay, we have 4 teams presenting and pitching for the hackathon prize. Some of our teams are joining virtually. We have about 2 teams that would pitch their idea virtually. And we have 2 teams that will be pitching on site here. I believe our judges are ready. Do we have our judges ready? Please, can you help? Okay. So, summarize our virtual teams. Are they ready to present? Are they on ground? Okay. So we have 4 teams presenting today. We have Team Zafi, we have Team Royal Light, we have Execution Team, and Team Parrot. It was supposed to be 5, but sadly, a team got disqualified due to some rules in the hackathon that were broken, which led to the disqualification of that team. So instead of 5 teams pitching, 4 teams will be pitching for the prizes today. And yeah, our judges.
Yeah.
Let's call upon our judges for the hackathon.
All right. Thank you very much, Paula. So the next thing we have to do now is, let me give you a story first. Before, when we were about to do this event, we called a lot of people. We called them to come and try to build with AI, right? So I think we opened source about 10,000 people, and then we had people who came together in teams, and then they all came up with very interesting ideas. They basically used the same, AI, ChatGPT, cloud to build the product, without having to do so much of intense coding. So now we have them here, and some of them will go with money as well. And I think it's very good. It's going to be nice just for you to see how people can actually build a full stack app in less than 1 week, because that was the hackathon actually. They had just 1 week to build something. Apps that take up to 10 days, up to a month, or 2 months, or 3 months in cases, we came up with it in another 1 week. All right, so first things first, before I introduce the team, I would like to call on our judges to come to the front seat. We have 4 judges, and we have 5 teams. 3 teams are from Kenya, 2 teams are here to present to us today. So we have 5 teams in total. Judge number 1 will be Tisilayo Akindogunla, Head of Product Marketing and Security. Tisilayo. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for her, please. Okay. Yeah. Fine. The next judge we have is Kingsley Ukeje, Head of Product. And the third judge is Shegun Umoru, Senior AI and Machine Learning Engineer at Optimus GI Labs. And then we also have Mansuru Abdullahi, who's the Engineering Manager at Zone Network. A round of applause for him, please. Great. Would you mind giving us information about yourself? Not the data, basically, but about you from the right side.
Okay, hi everybody. Like you mentioned, my name is Titi Layo, and I currently in product marketing at Jersey. You can check it out if you want. I've been on this career path for over a decade, and it's been nice being here. I've seen some of the product, but it's been nice seeing the founders having to present it here for all of us to see and then judge the ones that are qualified for it. Thank you so much.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and I welcome you once again, actually, to the World Usability Day Africa 2025. So, as I'm introduced, my name is Mansur, and I currently work as an engineering manager at Zone Payment Network. So, at Zone, we are building the next generation payment infrastructure using blockchain. So, and what my team do is to ensure we connect fiat payments, the money we spend every day, with the payments on the blockchain. And that is the amazing team we've been building at Zone. So you can connect with me, and if you have any beautiful ideas you think, I'll just build together. Thank you.
You guys said that. For those that have ideas they want to talk about,
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shegun Umoru. Yeah, I'm a senior AI and machine learning engineer at Optimus AI Labs. In Optimus AI Labs, we're currently building Omnis and some other products. Omnis is a financial intelligence system powered by AI. And then we are partnering with, core banking infrastructure in Nigeria, InterSwitch and the likes. So the whole idea is to be able to have an AI power system on top your mobile applications, where you can have a beautiful user experience and user engagement. Most of the time when people come to the app, mobile banking apps, you just go there and do transactions and go. So we're trying to increase engagement on your mobile app. And then you can also have a personal concierge where everything is tailored to you. So you don't have to receive every information. Product is tailored to you. We study your transaction patterns and all of that. So it's a beautiful thing. And some other products, we are building. So I lead the engineering team in Optimus AI Lab. Thanks.
That's really a lot. You guys clap now. You know you
Yeah. Hi. Like I already said earlier, my name is Kingsley. I'm the head of product at Easy. Easy is a B2B, a US-based B2B marketplace for wholesale electronics. And yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's move on to the page. So the first team that will be presenting virtually is Team Zafi. Are you guys ready, Team Zafi? You guys should clap, please. Okay, they should go ahead, share their screen, and they have 5 minutes for their presentation. Okay. All right. It seems Zafi isn't ready yet. So let's go for Team Royal Light. Team Royal Light, can you guys? Okay. You guys have 5 minutes and your time starts now.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Tessa. I'm the team lead for Royal Light, and today we would like to introduce to you Study Gap AI. So, this year's university entrance exam for the third time. She is studying more than 2 hours a day. She's doing practice problems. She's watching videos on YouTube. However, her calculus marks just won't improve. Why? Her calculus problem isn't actually a calculus problem. It's a fractions problem from secondary school that she never mastered. Every calculus question with fractions trips her up. She's studying the wrong thing, and she doesn't even know that. (11 to 34% of students pass this exam for more than 2 hours. Students are not lazy, they're misdirected. They waste time on mastered topics while foundational gaps lay hidden. Traditional apps say you're weak in calculus. They don't say why. That is what we solve. The solution, an AI-powered root diagnostic tool that identifies weak topics and why. First, the student takes a 15-question diagnostic, and then they are asked to explain each question, right? So after they explain their answers, this gives us an insight into how the student thinks. This then say, study more calculus, and our AI will say, you're weak in calculus because you haven't mastered fractions. Fix that first. Then the student gets a 6-week study plan, starting with foundational topics, and that builds into more complex topics. And then you also have free tutorials, resources like YouTube tutorials and practice problems. This is ensuring that students are studying smarter, not harder. The student would see when they first take the quiz. You can see that we are here's where we're different. You already see that the AI is flagged that arithmetic and algebraic concepts are missing, those foundational concepts. And this is reflected in our 6-week study plan. So first, the student has to do fractions and decimals and percentages before they can move on to week 5 and 6, where they start tackling those complex topics of calculus and statistics. In terms of the technical execution, it was built in 6 days. There's a Python Flask backend, a Superbase database. The front end uses React, and it's optimized for 2G and 3G networks, which is important because 80% of the Nigerian students are using mobile. On Railway for the backend and the front end on GitHub pages. We used AI-accelerated development like Cursor AI and Magic Patterns, and the app is live and functional and ready to use right now. 1.2 million students take this exam yearly. If we're charging 2,500 Naira a month, this is 10 times cheaper than traditional private tutors, which would be 10,000 to 30,000 a month. So with just 1% of market and a 10% conversion, we could convert these numbers into 36 million Naira of revenue yearly. But revenue isn't why we built this. I've watched students miss university, not from inability, but from not knowing how to study. Education breaks poverty cycles, and Study Gap AI makes diagnostic guidance accessible. Let's meet the team. I'm Tessa, I'm the team lead. I built the full stack, managed the architecture, I handled deployment and drove production direction as well as data analysis. And then the other team members contributed in Qatar on research and project coordination, Blessing on content curation and prompt engineering, and then Light, who's there in Lagos representing us right now, on design concepts. So I'm continuing development independently since it aligns with my education in tech work. I'm a tutor as well as a developer. And yeah, we're grateful to World Usability Day, Africa, for this opportunity. Thank you. The app is live. You can access it through the QR code or the link on screen. You can also contact the team with the QR code. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'm fine. Okay.
Judges, do you guys have any question for the team?
Hello, how you doing?
Hi.
Can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. I love the fact that you showed me the what's the word, the business model in terms of how you guys are going to make money. But when I checked out your platform, I saw that a fractional, rather, all of the questions were based on math. So what's going to happen for people that do not have math as one of the courses that they want to take? There was no other course available there, English, thereabouts.
Yes, that was just in terms of time constraints. We were building this through the 6-day sprint thereabout. So we focused on one subject just to prove the concept. But obviously, this would be expanded to more topics to accommodate all the range that is available. Yeah.
Okay, great. So there's another, right? Why you have a product that is solving a problem, and I see that you have the parts where you are first allowing the students to vet the problem. But I also see that when somebody comes into your platform, you direct them outside of your platform for the learning. How do you verify that they actually did the learning? That's what I'm saying, under your study plan. Once they click, they go out of the platform to take that course. How do you vet that they've actually done it? There was no assessment per se to verify that, oh, okay, this person actually took the study. How are you going to solve that? That's my question.
Thank you for that. Again, it's kind of a similar reason. Due to time constraints, we decided to focus on few functionality. Progress tracking and progress reporting is a functionality that we'd like to expand on, and that would be included in that, right? So, yeah.
So are you saying that you are going to be building on this for you to be able to vet if a student actually studied and then assess them accordingly?
Yes, they would be retaking the diagnostic quiz periodically, and our AI would analyze and give them new study plans, but it will take into account what they've improved on and things like that. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Okay, and that's one more question.
Hi, Teresa. Can you hear me, Teresa?
Hi. Yes, I can.
All right. Can you show me exactly what you've used AI for on this product? Because I know from what I've seen in your presentation, I mean, I could see we have a series of questions and then student can take some of these questions. So how does AI come in what you have built?
The main use of AI in our product is that we send all the answers and explanations through our API to Google Gemini, and that's what actually generates the study plan and what resources they should actually be using. So it'll be accessing all of that. That's really the main, the driving force behind our app is that AI, Google Gemini, that will actually give that feedback, that analysis. Yeah.
Okay, if I understand what you're saying, so you're saying that you assess the students' strengths, and then AI gives the feedback, like this, a report, a summarized report. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So the student gives questions, like they answer the question and they either get it right or wrong, but that's not enough, right? To have a deep diagnostic. So the explanations of how they went through the answers is actually what AI is using primarily to diagnose what's actually missing and why they're getting things wrong.
Okay, so how do you undo hallucination, and then what are the things you put in place? Because if you assess a student and then AI hallucinates based on the student assessment, so what are the things you put in place?
So our backend actually had data validation inbuilt into it. So if the AI hallucinates, we had some rules that it was checking, and we would default to just like a standard study plan that would be in place if something like that happened.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Teresa, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
The the problem statement you have here. Okay, my question is like, is this the product idea? Is it reactive or is it proactive? And let me explain my question because right here, I feel from my understanding of your problem statement, you're trying to solve a problem that a problem created. Hello?
In what way?
You get that?
Yes, I can hear you. I just don't understand your question
So I'm
fully.
asking the product idea, study gap, which is amazing, by the way. Is it proactive or is it reactive? For my question is, the problem statement is said people have to fail jam to use your product. So I wanted to understand, are you trying to solve why people are failing jam and not trying to solve after they have failed it so they won't fail it again?
Oh, no. That was just a particular scenario. Actually, as a tutor, so I'm tutoring, right? You don't tutor someone after they failed. You're tutoring them while they're in school. So this is kind of like a AI tutor. So the purpose of it when it's most effective is before you write the test. But the ones that probably need it most, and that's why we use them as the pain point, would be ones that have written it multiple times and they've proven that they've got the motivation, but something's just not clicking. But you can obviously use our app. The main primary usage is that you're studying and you're not really sure how to study. So you haven't written yet, but you know that you have this much time and you want to study in the most effective way. That's actually the problem that we're solving, effective study, which is applicable to whether you've written the test or not.
All right, just a quick one. So it's an amazing project, Study Gap. So I just want you to, in a brief sentence, what's your selling point? What differentiates you from existing LMS like Coursera, ALX, Google Education, and the other platforms there? So what's your selling point actually?
Our selling point is that, like a real tutor, our focus is on how a student thinks and using that as our feedback. So we're not just saying you got this right or you got this wrong, right? Traditional things like Coursera, traditional platforms like Coursera, just you either get it right or you get it wrong. That's not really much of importance to us. It's why you got it wrong. What steps did you take? And that's really where we are different because our focus is on the student's thinking, which is what a real life tutor would actually do.
All right, thank you, Team Royal Light. Let's move to the next step. Judges, this time around, I'll not allow you to chop my time. Okay, so Team Zafi, I hope you guys are ready to share your screen and start presenting. You also have 5 minutes for question and for presentation. Are they ready? Okay. Are you in presentation mode? Okay.
Yes, I believe so. Mic check.
Okay. Team Zafi, your time starts now.
Okay, awesome. Hello all. My name is Joseph, here to present Zafi Utility. So Zafi simply seeks to transform affiliate marketing with AI compliance and blockchain transparency. So the problem statement simply being around 84 billion was reported to be lost to ad fraud globally. 20% of affiliate traffic is fraudulent. 5 to 15% fraud rate across all transactions. 33% plus of digital advertisements traffic is fake, and 1.4 billion was lost in 2020 alone. The pain points around this were manual approval bottlenecks. So this was days of delays, human errors in commission calculation, frustrated affiliates. The second point was fraud running rampant. So this was due to techniques like cookie stuffing, click injection, fake purchases, bot traffic, etc., and also zero transparency. So basically, most systems run on a centralized database, which can be easily manipulated, and these fields were impossible to verify. And then there's all those payment friction in this particular case if you combine all those particular pain points together. So Zafi is the first AI plus blockchain affiliate platform. It's auto compliance, it eliminates frauds and guarantees transparent payments. How do we do this? We utilize webhooks. So you connect your e-commerce or product store to the Zafi utility tool. Once an order is received and confirmed as paid, we will use then LangChain AI to simply do a compliance check. So this is validation of orders and also calculation of commission. And those verified orders will then be taken to a blockchain log. So here we will use approved orders to be logged to the Hedera consensus net, basically. And then once they are approved there, they can be automated as smart contract payments using HBAR tokens or simple Stripe payments. So LangChain AI, in terms of validation, how are we using this to do order validity, to look at fraud detection, to look at commission accuracy, and also to follow compliance rules, which are industry agnostic. So what I mean by that is once you get the tool, you can be able to set up your own compliance. Why Hedera? For the blockchain login, tamper-proof, full visibility, dispute resolution, and it's fast, cheap, and green. Flexible payment options exist, as I've said. So it's either you receive smart token payments, in this particular case, the HBAR tokens, or the system admin can go ahead and generate Stripe bulk payouts. So how do we differ from traditional platforms? Traditional platforms will rely on manual fraud detection. We are doing AI-powered compliance. There is days of approval delays. We are doing instant validation. Manipulated database. We are doing an immutable blockchain. Limited payment options. We offer both the Stripe payments and also crypto for affiliates who can register on the same. Who needs Zafi? High-value programs. So you're talking about your software service, your e-commerce stores, international brands, regulated industries, and also programs that have been simply fraud hit. Our roadmap in terms of development, right now we are very active on Shopify as per the hackathon duration. We are looking into getting into WooCommerce and other enterprise features. But to see our app in action, you can just go to zafi.net.app. So I'm just going to show a quick overview of this. So for example, on this dashboard, I'm logged in admin. So once an affiliate is able to make a sale via their promo link, which all get generated on the system, I will then receive the payout report. So in terms of the payout report, I either get two things, the valid payments in terms of the valid orders, or I get error log payments. So for example, this is what a valid payment would look like. A Stripe ID will be generated for that affiliate if I want to do block payments. And I can also see the smart contract address if the affiliate had selected. So for example, these two affiliates are selected to be paid via smart contracts. So if I go to this, I can then just be able to get the hashcat.io, which is what Hedera uses to simply that graphical representation to that contract fulfillment. So as it loads, I'll just go back here. So in order for me now to do the bulk payouts, I can then go ahead and just download the CSV and go to this particular link here and go ahead and achieve my Stripe payout in terms of the upload. So if I go back here on this payout section, say an order did not meet the compliance checks, then those particular hooks will be alerted to the admin and they will to the payout error logs. So in this particular case, this is a sample of error logs. For example, I can see there was an order 2124. So if I go to my Shopify store, I'll also see an order 2124. And the reason why it's an error is because the commission amount is less than 5%. So specifically, not 5%, sorry, $5. So specifically, it was at $0.1 in terms of calculation, which in itself makes that particular order fraudulent. So in this case, the AI report, this is a clear violation of the strict rules, making this affiliate sale suspicious.
Your 5 minutes.
Awesome. Actually, I'm done. So I'm done there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Your time is up. Thank you. The judges have a couple of questions for you. So, yeah.
Yeah, Joseph, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. I mean, your problem statement is fantastic. I mean, you're trying to solve a major issue in the financial system and then the blockchain system as well. But I have questions around compliance and security, right, which is a major bottleneck. Now, my first question would be, why did you choose LangChain? That's the first thing. Because I know hold on. I know we have different frameworks. So that's the first question. The second thing is that in terms of security, right? What are the things you put in place to ensure that certain data are not leaked? in between transactions? Do you understand those two questions?
Yes, I do, and I'll try to answer them in this order. So in this case, why LangChain? It standardizes working with LLMs. So in this particular case, with the LangChain framework, within Zephyr, we'll be able to employ multiple agents. So we can have an agent maybe from OpenAI dealing with a specific compliance check. We can have a topic dealing with something else, something like Grok doing something else, etc. So that was the first reason why we wanted to use LangChain. And also it makes working with this LLM workflows much more easier because of things like retrieval augmented generation, which is part of what we want to do with our data. And also apart from that, we have the built-in documents loading. So we can be able to attach documents to it, and it can be able to analyze, scan, and give the various criteria we need in terms of the compliance checks that we have. In terms of security, if I can answer the second question, I will then say the main aspect for us was to ensure whatever is sensitive is encrypted in transit. So we ensure there is an encoding, decoding that happens with the points of query to the points of request response, etc. So whenever our data is traveling, basically, we ensure that it's actually encoded in that particular perspective. For the blockchain, in terms of just securing those particular transactions, we are relying majorly on Hedera in terms of their consensus network, which I think is brilliant because then we have a lot of security checks from the different companies who are involved in that consensus. So huge companies like Google, etc., being some of them. So I hope I've answered those questions.
All right. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you.
All right, Joseph. So it's a brilliant solution. And the fact that blockchain is the next. Blockchain has been around, but majority of people think it is crypto. But the fact is, all transactions that we do today, everything will soon move to the blockchain. So the fact that you can transact from anywhere across the globe. So my question to you is the fact that how do you bring the value of chain to the blockchain? So at what point during your integration, you transform the value of chain? A customer is trying to pay for a product. So at what point do you take that value to the blockchain?
So our main value point can be the tamper-proof resistance that is then offered with a blockchain network. So in this particular case, if sale is approved from the affiliate perspective, that sale will only be paid if it's actually a valid sale. And if the affiliate wants to keep up with that record, they have transparency. So this is just of them looking at that Hedera consensus link and being able to see that particular sale that was made and the contract details in terms of how they were paid, if it's either through HBAR tokens or then they prefer to use right payout. So once it gets paid in this particular case, that address in terms of where the contract is saved, in terms of the topic ID, will then receive that particular update. We are offering transparency to both the affiliate and tamper-proof resistance to the owners of these particular stores. So I hope that then showcases the value of chain for us.
Okay, so how do you blend compliance off-chain to the blockchain? So things like know your customer, AML, do you consider that?
No, for Zafi, we handle the KYC on our end. So on our end in terms of on a centralized point. So in terms of what we're utilizing the blockchain for, this is only to log out verified payments. So in that particular case, the affiliate would find sensitive information. The only bit of sensitive information within that transaction log will be maybe their user ID in terms of relation to the system. So if it's KYC data, we manage that on a central basis. But then in terms of verification of these particular sales, that's what we've logged out to blockchain.
Hi, Joseph. How you doing?
Hello.
Okay, hi. So I saw something weird in your product. The fact that once an affiliate or a sales is made, the admin has to come and download CSV and upload the CSV again to process payments. And I'm wondering, is there no way to make that process seamless?
Yeah, we thought of that. We thought of a couple ways to make it seamless, but then our biggest pointer was guardrails. So when we talked about making this like an agentic system in this particular case, a big guardrail for us is around payments. So to be honest with you, within the hackathon period, we're still trying to figure out what's the best guardrail to put within the positions of payments. So in this particular case, this is an actual payment that will be made. So the idea is if we leave that for maybe AI to do that for us, what are the points that we need to ensure that it does not go beyond the data that we need paid for? I don't know if I'm making sense there in the sense of if I only need to pay for 3 records, then AI is not sort of doing some duplicate checkpoints, etc. So instead of having it currently within our current version, we then decided to have that as under development in the sense of now it's about the system architecture around the different guardrail checkpoints we have to employ on sensitive things like making actual payments using Stripe, because in this case, money is involved and people get really sensitive money. So the idea for us with the downloading of the CSV, which is already prepared, your work is just to download, upload, and then Stripe will take over in terms of payment, is just to employ that as a guardrail so that if that admin wants to verify, they can go ahead and verify.
Okay, my last one. How do you make money? How does Zafi make money?
Okay, so we want to employ this as a plugin, which then will have a subscription base. So we will look at a pool of the affiliates you load onto your particular platform. So the first 10 affiliates is free for user adoption. But then after that, we have service package fees, which range from monthly, quarterly, and then annually, basically. So we have monthly and annually. So we are offering it as a software service.
Subscription model.
Hello?
Do you guys have a subscription model?
Yeah, we do have a subscription model.
All right, thank you, Tim Zafi. So the next
Awesome.
presenting will be one of the
Okay.
right now. So I open the email and I go further to use Click Save.
Okay.
Like you analyze the mail, then you want to provide feedback.
Yeah.
Right? So what do you explain to me for me to know that this email is suspicious?
Okay. We pinpoint what is suspicious on the mail. Words with the wordings, the links, and also we also give you like an alert to show, okay, this is a malicious link. Don't click on it.
Okay, sorry, just the last question.
Okay.
So what is really unique? What are you using AI to do? Because from what you
like I said, I'm using AI for contextual analysis.
Sorry, from what you explained, right? And I go through your implementation. So I could see things like your applicable base, you are checking maybe the age of the domain, something we can just use if and else statement to actually analyze. So, but can you be more specific? How does AI really come into context to analyze the mail, and how does it really help in solving this phishing problem?
All right. So, like I said, our data is being trained on existing samples of phishing emails, and it sits on an MCP, an AI server. And we provided these AI servers, and we provided AI server with resources. So whenever a user prompts that, okay, check this email, analyze this email, it goes through it and does this AI stuff and sends feedback. Because that AI has already been trained in context relating to that particular industry.
Thank you very much for that team education. It will be a long back and forth, and time is on our hands. So based on that, you guys know what.
Thank you, Jordan.
So the next team presenting is Team Parrot. Are you guys ready? Unfortunately, except you can view from your laptop, I think there's something wrong with the power supply to that stuff. They can hold your laptop. Can you do it?
Okay, yes, sure. Okay.
That's
The screen is not on. You need your own laptop.
The other thing, you definitely present your side, but we can't present it to others because the parts of the coming out of that. So you want this play. Yeah, but that was the time. So you guys just need to present. Maybe the keeping and the laptop based on and we can just
Good day, everyone. My name is Safaya. It's so unfortunate that I'm presenting without my deck. So I'm going to send the QR code to the group now. If you're in the group, please just tap on it, turn to the QR code. It will take you to the website. You can see what we are talking for yourself. So, but before I start, I want to ask 3 questions.
I'll be timing you now. So.
Okay. And number 1 is, how many of us is deaf here? Obviously, the answer is no. The second question is, how many of us, okay, second question is, how many of us knows a friend who is deaf? Okay, wonderful. So you're going to relate very well with what I'm saying. When we got the brief to join Mid Africa for this hackathon, I was really very happy because, unlike everybody else, I listen with just one ear. And it has been a very big problem for me, even communicating. My family will make fun of me that I'm just like one step to becoming deaf. And we built a solution that would solve that. Because you see, we can hear and you can listen, but in Nigeria, over 5 million people cannot actually hear and speak. They are deaf and dumb. And the reason why most of you do not know that because of they are unconsciously excluded from the society. And it's not just in friendship, both in health and otherwise. Next slide, please. So we built a solution, and the solution is parrots. And parrots, for you to translate your deaf friends' communication, you just have to point the camera at them, and then AI analyzes the signs that they are doing, and will now be able to translate it to you in English. And the beautiful thing is, like, just as language differs from location to location, Nigerian Sign Language is different from American Sign Language. So for the longest time, people have been translating deaf and dumb people with American Sign Language apps, but we are bringing a difference to that. Who's excited? Next slide. So the question now is, I've told you the problem, I've told you the solution. Why should we actually do this? Above all the solutions in the world, why did you choose to build this? Above all the people who have come in to pitch their ideas, why should you choose us? And the question and the answer to that is, the tech is now good. Data set for Nigerian Sign Language is not improving. We plan to build that with the money we bring from the grants. But the tech now is with us, and we believe that we can do so much more starting from Wood Africa. Next slide. So now, how do we actually tend to bring this to model? Because it's one thing to build something in your backyard, and it's another thing to actually get it to customers. And the best way to look at this is how ChatGPT does it. We're going to build an app that lets even now you can even use parrots to show to your friends and understand what they are doing. But we also know that there's just a lot that we can do. And if we give it as an API, a lot of banks and customer service, a lot of hospitals can use it to diagnose their patients, and a lot of beautiful things can happen. Next slide. So why will a product built in a hackathon by 3 21-year-olds scale against global apps? Like I said, there are other apps that do this, but less of them is real time. I'm saying, and then even if they are doing it, no one is dedicated to Africa. No one is looking at Africa, and no one is looking at Nigeria. Next slide. Then what is the impact? The impact is that there will be fewer cases of death, because imagine this: you cannot speak and you cannot talk, and you are suffering from a disease or any illness, and you go to hospital, and your doctor cannot understand what you're actually feeling. How will they be able to diagnose you? And even if they diagnose you, how will you be able to understand how many tablets you're supposed to be taking at what time of the day? Next slide. So this is just the beautiful faces of the people who built it. Let's make Africa great again.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have, wow, okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm so excited.
Beautiful initiative, right? My question would be, how do you take this? How do remote places, right? I mean, places where they don't have access to mobile phones with camera and all of that, how would they take advantage of this? That's the first question. The second question is, I mean, for someone that is deaf, that is using a phone, which is good. I mean, someone that is deaf or dumb, that is using a phone that has camera, right? If the person is not trained, to be able to understand how to use this solution, right? Are there things that you have put in place to be able to educate them on how to,
Yes.
Okay.
I'm smiling because, yes, we thought about that. Did you watch the demo? Or have you seen the app? Let me please send this thing to the group. So in the app, we have 4 tabs. Number 1 is the one where you actually sign. Maybe you're having a conversation with this beautiful lady here, and you want it to be an interactive conversation. You sign and she speaks in English, and that one, there's no bridge. So that's like a one-on-one conversation. That's the first tab. The second tab is when you just want to maybe sign a phrase, and get it in English or any language you want. And the third tab is if you want to speak to AI, because everybody here, we're talking about AI, but you also understand that most people who are deaf and dumb also are like they are limited to the way they can communicate with ChatGPT, and this is impeding their creativity. ChatGPT is an amazing thing that like has fueled our creativity, but they are denied it because you're telling somebody who is sign language to write English. They don't know how to spell correctly. They don't know how to give enough context. And we know that ChatGPT fits on, like AI generally fits on context. The quality of your question is based on how good you were able to communicate with them. So that's the third slide. And the third one, and the last one is the knowledge base, where you can, where somebody, even on sign up, you can choose, oh, I'm not a signer. And then with that knowledge base, you can now get phrases on words like cats, sign, whatever, and just like learn. Then for the first one, I believe that will I say that if we just have to get started, that's the question. We are going to get to a point where perhaps if this company grows, we would have stations, just like you have call centers, or where people call, please call somebody for me. We might get to a point where we have that position in remote areas, maybe do the charging, maybe even Good Africa can sponsor that, right? But the point is that we need to start somewhere. If we are thinking about all of this, probably we'll not even start with it. I think that's the question for you. Answer, exactly.
Okay. Hi. So when I got this last week when I was going through the whole participant for the hackathon, this was most favorite products. But reading through everything and going through your presentation, even seeing your presentation now, one thing that just kept on through my mind is that you can't build emotional products. You can't build emotional. You can't scale emotionally. When you go for competitions, as you're in now, 4 of 4 sitting, judge you based on its we're not going to judge you based on its health. We're going to judge the viability of your products, what you're building. So one of the major issues that I noticed is that you're selling the MVP, you're not selling the product. So we are excited because you're telling us the MVP. One of the issues I have is I'm trying to see scalability. I'm trying to see scalability here. And one of the issues, when I say scalability, one of the issues is I saw Nigeria everywhere. It's a product that is built locally. Like, honestly, it's an amazing product. It's an amazing product. But for us here, or for me as a judge, I would want you to sell this product as a sign language, not a Nigerian sign language. Do you get my point? Tell us on a global scale, then come out and say how it affects the Nigerian market. But because if you start from the Nigerian market, us here, I'll be like, okay, so if we invest 2 million naira, like Nigeria can just happen, and if there's no plan on, you're competing with the local market while we are thinking global. Do you understand? So one of the questions I wanted to ask is, can you, like, just in a nutshell, tell us more. I don't want to hear like sign language in Nigeria like this, how we are going to translate. There's an American sign language, there's a Nigerian sign language, there's a Japanese sign language. I want to hear more of how can this scale? How do you see growth? I want to see some sort of, yeah.
Okay, so first off, I got a little bit confused when you stated I'm selling an emotional product, because which product is not emotional? Emotional is based on the connection of the user and then the impact it makes in their life. But then in the terms of like Nigerian and global, I think this is like there are 2 types of problems that any startup or any product goes to. There's the one that comes with scale, and there's the one that even like, will I say, impedes or let's say overruns the existence of that company. And this one is a good problem. It's something that I could just change from Nigeria to Africa, from Nigeria to the world. And something that we just like with some commits on GitHub, we have added another node, we have added some data sets, and can be done. So I would say it's one of those good problems that will be solved anyway.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's just like once you remove that word Africa, it goes. So what I'm saying is, next time in further presentations, it's better you sell globally. Then you now say how it affects how it affects locally. Even in Nigeria, there is this problem, but we are thinking global. But well done.
Thank you.
All right, well done. It's an amazing solution, actually. When I look at all the projects submitted and I saw this, I see novelty and I see impact.
Exactly.
So, but my question for you, because I also try to go through your solution, you've tried, but it's not fully functional yet, right? So my question, because we are at World Usability Day Africa, and we are talking about AI. So how have you, because I even tried to show some signs just to test what you've done. So how have you integrated AI to actually analyze the data you collect? Speak more technical this time around, right? Okay. So how do you collect, how do you analyze the data? What's the model behind it? And how do you transform that to the English? And how do you try to use this to communicate with them and government?
Okay, I would say that we didn't want to get disqualified, right? We are firstly what kind of people that keeps rules. So maybe we submitted the product, we didn't do any more things, so we'll not get disqualified. But then we plan in the period I sent before we started coming here, we plan to even add some motion detection. So when you are signing, you are seeing some lines, those lines that are drawn as you are signing. And then we plan to improve the product over time. So that answered the first question. And the second one, I'm not really
I don't know if I'm just really saying this, but I'm seeing a lot of there's still brainstorming needs to be done. There's still a lot of conversation that needs to be had. But no, you people have something. There's something special going on, but
I wish that we were able to see something because it would tell us a lot more into okay. Let me end by saying that yeah, for the AI, like description with AI, like the sign language, that was not working well. But the AI assistant can try it. It should, yeah, it's going to work.
Thank you, guys. We are not times against us. We have one more thing that needs to present. Thank you very much for the fire. So we have one more final team that are joining virtually. Okay, so let me see. Sorry, give me a second. Hold on. Okay, are they ready?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so team timer, you guys have 5 minutes and your time starts now.
Yeah, so I would love to ask, is it possible for me to just share my screen instead? Because hello?
Yes, it's possible.
All right, thank you.
Are you sharing your screen? You're not sharing your screen yet.
All right, that's what I'm about to do. All right, good day, judges. I'm so delighted for this opportunity you've given me to present my product. So for this World Usability Day, I'll be.
Time up, please hold on.
Can you pause, please? We are trying to display your slide. Are you sharing your screen?
Yes, I am.
This is the fonts, don't worry. Can you just get so I can see your screen? Okay, Windows do that. Yeah. Windows and then just what's the this is where you have to see. Yeah, try it.
All right, can I start now?
Hold on.
Hold on.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can start now. So your time will be restarting now. Okay, proceed.
All right, thank you. Thank you once again to the judges for giving me this opportunity to present this product. So I'm Samuel, yeah, the team lead for Team Timer, and we are here to present a product to you called Timer. Now, the name Timer stands for Time-Based AI Management System, and it's kind of like an innovative AI assistant that is designed to help internet users, I put an emphasis on that, internet users to manage their time and task much more effectively. Let me move on to the next slide. All right. Now, let's look at why we are to bring up Timer. Now, when we talk about Timer, we're talking about how can we maximize the productivity of internet users. A lot of people use the internet like every day, but the issue there is, do they actually accomplish every single thing they plan to do for the day? Now, this is the problem. This is the problem we have identified. Why we lose time. Now, there are a lot of problems on why we lose time, a lot of reasons on why we lose time, but we kind of research into 4 major pointers, 4 major problems on why we lose time, or 4 major reasons. And now the first one, which is the mere urgency effect, is one of them that everybody suffers from, but we don't just know it by the mere urgency effect. Now, the mere urgency effect is a kind of, is the tendency of humans, or more specifically internet users, to chase urgent, trivial task over extremely important tasks. Now, let me give you a very good example. I don't know, like, imagine a normal internet user that wakes up in the morning, goes to his mail, searching for some kind of congratulation message or some kind of important message. And that same internet user has his or her WhatsApp open, basically. Now, when the person opens the WhatsApp, um, there are notifications that pop up, basically. That's normal for WhatsApp. Now, the main urgency effect is just trying to emphasize more that, okay, there's a tendency for you to kind of switch your focus from the important mails to your WhatsApp. Now, those WhatsApp in those cases, those WhatsApp messages in those cases are urgent, but not much more important than the mail you were trying to check. Now, that's the main urgency effect. Let me run briefly over the remaining three. Now, context switching. For instance, now, it takes approximately 23 minutes, from research to regain focus after an interruption. Yeah, it takes approximately 23 minutes. And, switching apps, moving from maybe your calendar to your WhatsApp or to a lot of other apps kind of shatters concentrations and wastes productive time. Now, the one other reason is the fragmented task management. Yeah, a lot of workers spend like a large or a majority or a benchmark number of internet users spend approximately 10 hours per week manually moving information between isolated productivity tools. For instance, now you're on Chrome and you see a very important, document or something, and you don't fully understand it. Now you have to, switch your focus from Chrome, copy the content from Chrome, and then put it on probably your ChatGPT or your Gemini. Now that's kind of like wasting time. That is a switch in focus. Now, this last one is something that everybody suffers from. Like a lot of people suffer from it, which is overwhelming workloads. At least a large amount of internet workers suffer from it. You see one link, you click on it, that one goes to another link, you click on it. Now, it becomes so overwhelming that you can't actually focus on any and you don't achieve any other thing. Now, let's look at how Timer solved this problem. Now, Timer is designed to be simple. It doesn't require any complex or technical skills to use. It runs quietly in the background. It understands every single thing you are doing on your workspace, whether it's your desktop or your mobile phone or whatever platform you're using, and it proactively suggests the right task at the right time. Just look at it as your guardian angel telling you, okay, at this particular point in time, this is what I suggest you should do. Now, one of the main innovations behind Timer is one, context-aware prioritization. As I said earlier, it has access to everything you are doing and can actually monitor your task very well. It can tell you what to do at this particular time.
All right, Timer, your time is up. Thank you very much for presenting.
Can you
show the judges are requesting for demo to your product? Do you have any you can show, like your live site or something?
Okay, for now we Timer has not been deployed yet, but it still runs locally for now.
Okay, does the judges have any question for them? Okay, you have one.
Hello, Team Timer.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up. And just a simple question, because I can see from your approach to solving this problem, you are planning to track every one of us here. So we are trying to track everything we do from our mobile phone, our laptops, and that gets you mentioned. So what do you plan alongside this, your solution? How do you plan to protect our privacy?
Yeah.
So we are afraid that you know everything about us, you know our private conversation, you know the content we consume online, then we all run away from your solution.
Okay. So now when we initially started this product, we actually had concerns about data privacy and the fact that it's actually context aware. Now, one of the key features we added to Timer is that you have this mode where you can actually disable the context aware abilities of timer. So it's kind of like, okay, telling timer that, okay, I am particularly on this tab, I'm particularly on this window, I'm particularly at this section of my drive. I don't want you to have access to it. Now, once you do that, timer automatically, like, it automatically blocks timer from accessing that. Now, once you do that, the timer automatically simplifies to a kind of, this is your normal GPT, this is just a chatbot that you can chat with and, schedule tasks and all that. I hope that answers your question on privacy.
Fair enough.
Okay, I believe that's that. Thank you very much, Team Timer, and for every other team that presented today. While the judges collect the results, and okay, okay. So the judges will collect the result, and you would give feedback to the teams generally, and then you announce you let us know the turn, and the winner, of course. So while we wait for that, I would like to call Tiwa Lehman to come, and we have something special for people at Tech Synergy, the sponsors for this hackathon. So Tiwa Lehman, okay? Dami, can you call Tiwa, please? Tiwa. Okay, thank you. I'm handing over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are having a great time. So we at WD Africa, we want to present some awards to some people that contributed a lot to WD as a whole into this event. I would like to appreciate them with some awards. So I'm going to be calling on the Project Manager Mentor of the Year Award, and that's going to be presented to Tomiwa Akikwejo Samson. A round of applause for him. All right, so the next award that I would be presenting is another Product Manager Mentor of the Year Award. And I'll be presenting this to Onis Charles MM, but he's not here currently, but someone would be accepting this award on his behalf. Then lastly, we're going to be giving an award to the Tech Community of the Year, and we're presenting that to Tech Synergy. A round of applause for them. Thank you very much, guys, and continue to have a great time.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Technology. I believe we all had an amazing time from when the initial workshops started, the different topics, different meetings and tech that we passed through. And I believe everybody attended one or two workshops throughout the course of the hackathon, and we've learned one or two things. And I guess you guys showed us that the judges are still having time to decide who will be the winner at this point. So judges, Are you guys ready for us? Oh wow! that is like keeping you guys on your toes. You guys are already anxious on. I know that the kids are physically oriented. They have to do it. Like, I think this mic when I said, yeah, cool. Well, let's see what I'm going to a couple of more minutes. So while we wait for that, does anybody have any questions for me? Because I've been asking questions. Okay, to you guys. You guys have any questions for me? Okay. All right. Still asking everybody. So I do have a question. I don't know if I can get you to. So to the team that was talking about the deaf and dumb, then I just have an advice. Because I'm a nurse. So our advice is get 2 people on your team, an healthcare practitioner. I don't know if you have that person on your team. You're an healthcare practitioner. Yeah. All right, thank you so much. And then the second thing is Omolola. Yes. And then the second thing is he asked a question about how do we take it to remote people to have access to it. We can actually partner with PSs. So Nigeria has NKCBC, and then the global landscape, we have USAID is no longer given to Africa. So we have UNESCO. And why will UNESCO and UNICEF be interested is because we have children with these disabilities. And between 2025 to 2030, they are placing focus on such children. You might want to use them to your advantage. So thank you so much. No, not necessarily, but I just have to put that on it. So and then so far I've learned a lot because coming from someone that is just transitioning to tech, yes. So but now I still don't know, but then I'm thinking product design. Yeah, product design, UI UX designer. Okay, it's just the same thing. Yes, UI UX design. Why? Because I believe I have an edge of creativity, especially when it comes to visuals. So yeah. But you know that product design is about visuals. Yeah, I know. I know that. But I know. You should be ready to cry. Yeah, it's very fair. Your job as a designer is a lot. It comes with, I think you do more thinking than actually designing. You do more thinking than actually designing. Like some products will mentally break you, like, and then you don't be having a shower and boom. Oh, I know what to do. Then you go and do it. So I wish you luck in that, and hopefully you. One advice I'll give you in that is, since you're just starting, focus on knowing the basics. That is, the skill itself. That's the UI skill. Ensure you learn the basics. Your goal should be more about learning and actually knowing how to do the skill. When you've known that, then you can now focus on, oh, I want to get the big jobs. Oh, I want everybody to know me and this and that. Because when you're good, your job will start speaking for you. You'll be able to meet maybe people you train to be able to tell, oh, I know Malala, she can do this. I know. One thing I am proud of for myself is I came from a path that had nothing to do with design, but I can say if I go to design community events, they say, oh, that's Coco Queen, Sabi, because I know my onions. I can probably say, oh, that product, I'm the one that did not check it out. Okay? An example, check out Lobby AI. Let me do them. You get it? So you should get to that point where your product speaks about your skill and you don't necessarily sell yourself, but when they see your product, they sabi you. So judges, are you guys ready? Wow! Hey! Wow! Hey, you guys. Okay, so WD currently doesn't do mentorship. However, a mentorship program I know of is HNG internship. And I would say that's more like a competition, more like like I call it, the Squid Game of tech, where you have to do different competition from stage 1 to 10, different tasks and all like that. However, you should have learned the skill. You should be good at the skill and be ready to have sleepless nights before you do that, right? So there's that. And if you're looking to learn, there's actually HNG Learn program where they actually now teach you from scratch and stuff like that. And there are other communities too. I think there's Spexel that teach you from scratch and all. There's Geneza, there's Go My Code. Go My Code also teaches UI UX, but they have from scratch and all. So the goal is when you learn, I'm sure from those boot camps where you get to learn, you get to meet free mentorship. And the funny thing about mentorship is you don't necessarily need to beg anybody to be your mentor. They'll just be that person that keeps observing you, seeing that, oh, this person keeps putting themselves out there. They'll just come comment on your work. Oh, you can improve on this and that. And before you know it, you guys just sort of automatically have that mentorship thing going on. That's how it worked for me anyway. I didn't have to beg someone to be my mentor. I just kept sending that person my work that, okay, I did this, kindly help me check it out. I need your feedback. And somehow we had that relationship and it grew from mentorship to friendship. And that person is one person I always look up to. I didn't need to say, please be my mentor. No. I allowed my action speak for me, actually. So, okay, we are almost ready. Almost. Okay, while the others are trying to still put them together, do you guys does any of you have feedback you want to give to the teams? Do you have any feedback you want to give to the teams that have presented so far? Maybe we could start doing that.
All right. I think I would love to talk to the Parrot team. I mean, they have a nice use case. And there's a lot of work you guys need to do. A lot of work because in terms of the AI integration part, it's a lot of every stuff you have to do. And I think from your implementation so far, you're calling 2, 3, 4 APIs, right? Gemini, I saw NVIDIA and all of that. So what I think you need to do first is, start from the simple implementation you have, right? Get the AI assistant working, get the sign language recognition and explanation, right? Working. Start like that and make sure they are well tested. You understand? And then you can start scaling like that. You understand? So build small, right? Even though this is an hackathon, we don't have much time. But think of how you can scale it, because if you're able to successfully implement all of these solutions all together as one, it's a lot. It's like I said, a multi-billion-dollar project. All right. So because that's the solution that people are actually looking for.
I wanted to add for all the teams that I have been opportunity to actually on this thing for a while, and I want to advise that if you want to build, try to have clarity of purpose. And what I mean by clarity of purpose, it should be very simple before it gets complicated. You should be able to see, like, one of the best presentations I enjoyed was the Parrots and the Study Gap. And the reason why I enjoyed their presentation of their product is that the idea was very clear. The Study Gap lady, Teresa, wanted people to stop feeling jam. The Parrots team wanted to convert sign language, like easily communicate, solve a problem for people that cannot communicate easily. Some other teams are presented, I could not really see clearly what problem they are trying to solve. So in situations when you're building, when you want to build, when you're about to start building, it's always very important that when you discover your problem, make sure that it's
you break it down to the barest minimum. There's an example that we always say, make sure a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, an 8-year-old can understand what you're doing easily. When you have to start to explain yourself, you already have a problem. When someone tells you, what are you trying to do? And you start saying, the version 1 will have this, the version 10 would have this, but now we are trying to start this, we are trying to do this. You already start creating problems for yourself. Then for teams, exactly like for feedback to teams, I feel like the product I enjoyed here the most, speaking personally, is Parrot. And the reason why I say that is they have a clear problem they're trying to solve. They have a core idea, and hopefully, as time goes on, they'll continue to refine the idea. They will continue to build on that foundation. Because I've been privileged to be part of many YC applications and Y Combinator applications and what Y Combinator wants to see in your product. And all of this here is good, but when you merge health tech with AI, which is what Parrot is doing, you almost have a game changer. When you bring AI to affect, like when you merge AI with health tech, you're going to, even if you don't get YC, you're going to get people's attention. So for Parrot, keep on having those conversations, keep on refining your product idea. And it's always important that you get your MVP first. Make it simple. Just like make it very simple. Like it can just be the click of one. You'll be so shocked. Go and see Uber. The Uber you people, like the Uber we have now, go and see the version 1. If you see the first Uber app, most times we use applications, we use solutions, and we love it. But at times, go online and see a picture of the version 1 of that app. You'll be so shocked that like Uber, like it's just, in fact, they might tell you that you don't even have to put your location. They'll give you the phone number of the driver for you to call the driver and know where it is for the driver to start coming to you. That might be their version 1. So it's important that when you're building something, don't let the current products that are in the market now complicate your own products. No. Start with clarity, start with simplicity, then let people know that they can be able to easily use your product. Then you can start to collect user feedback, start to improve your product. There's always a version 1.1, there's always a version 1.5, then you get to version 2, 2.1. That's how like you do versioning in the long run. But in trying to win hackathons and trying to scale, don't come and tell us you want to build Facebook or you want to build Tesla, but you're starting small. No. It's always important that you have that clarity of purpose. You're like, I like to be honest, when I tell people like my product ideas I have, I just like to just go straight to the point. I want to build an app that does this, that helps you go to market. I want to build an app that helps you pay for a bag of rice. I want to build an app that helps you drive this car. It's always very like your problem statement, even if it contains a whole page, you can compress it to just one sentence. Once you're able to compress your problem statement to one sentence, and you just tell people that, you notice that when you share a problem statement, the fact that nobody has questions means that it's clear. It's very clear. The next question they will now ask is, how do you want? But when you start, problem statement takes like 10 minutes, people start scratching their head, and so yeah.
All right. So it's been amazing. And we actually, before the announcement, actually, just to back up the point from my brother. So when we come to hackathon like this, and we try to showcase ideas, even if you can't drive it to a perfectly working solution, you need to identify your critical selling point. Like, for example, if you say that this thing is for payment, can you show us something that actually facilitates payment? If we are trying to solve a problem for the deaf and dumb, we need to be able to see that we can actually experiment, even if it is not a perfect solution. We should be able to see what you're actually doing and actually confirm that you have something. So it's fun. I can think of a table that can fly, and that's a fantastic idea. But if I can't really show like just a prototype that shows that this table can fly, it's just a mere claim. So, but to wrap up, I will just commend all the participants. It's not easy to do things like this. So the fact that you even show up, it's one significant achievement on its own. Then you dare to build. So for people in this field, we know that building something for hackathon, it's not easy because it's a short period of time and you have to put all that energy, all that thinking to get something meaningful out. So it's really something demanding, right? So however, for all the participants, whether you win or you don't win, and if you look at the process so far, our job as judges is not just to assign scores and select the winners. We are actually very much interested in the idea that really blend creativity with impact and then something that we can apply to our local situation in Africa, right? To really see that, oh, we've done something brilliant. So regardless of the situation of things, whether you are the first, second, or whatever, you are not even selected at all. One thing I want you to know is that your idea today is contributing to that growing ecosystem of Africa innovation, right? Something that in years to come, we are looking at Africa to be leading. So we've never led a world revolution, right? But with you and I, with this amazing minds that we are here today, I believe something great is yet to come. And we are the ones to make this happen for Africa. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Like they've all said, this is not an easy thing, right? So for each of the team that came out here to showcase what they can do within the short period, you are braver than some of us. So thank you so much. So I'll be calling the winners and I'll be starting from the top to the bottom. Top does not mean you are the top at the bottom. Oh, sorry, bottom does not mean you are the bottom. It just means that based on the number of people that we have, we just have to be able to grade them, right? And for the fifth position, I have timer. Okay, for the fourth position, I have click save. Okay, it's getting tougher, I must say, at this point. But for the third position, we have Zappy. Is there someone that wants to represent Zappy? Is there someone that wants to represent Zappy here? Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, thank you so much. Congratulations. All right, so while they are doing that, I'm going to be calling the second position. This is not based on emotion. We were able to verify that at least to a certain extent the product was working. It could do some basic things. So in the second position, we have Parrots. Please, can you guys count? Congratulations. Thank you, thank you. All right. All right, let's allow them take the moments. All right. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you so much. And we have the champion, the number one person that blew us away. The problem was clear. It was clear as ABC what they are trying to solve. And I'm sure that if they really want to bring it to that, I'm sure some of my people would like to partner with them to make